Okay, today our main focus is, there are three main topics today. The first topic is parameter passing. Especially, there are two different types of parameter passing. One is called call by value, and another one is called call by reference. So in this lecture slide, our main focus is call by value. And then there's two different type of variable. One is called local, and another one is called global. So there are two different kinds of variable in terms of variable scope. And finally, I'll talk more about the return statement. So you know that it's typically, mostly, right, the functions, at the end they have a return statement. So now, I know there's a lot of terminologies that I have to introduce, but okay, so let me just briefly go over this terminology. If the calling functions passing the data with a simple type such as integer, real number, and string, and this passing is called call by value, right? So for example, when calling functions, when the calling functions passes a value of, let's say, integer, and then real number, or the string, right, such as a simple data type, then this passing is called call by value. If not, if this calling function is trying to pass a data of complex type, such as a list, right, then it's called by, this passing is really called call by reference. Today our main focus is call by value. So basically the calling functions, such as a main, is going to passing the data, right, data with a simple data type, such as integer and real number and string. And this calling function is typically sends a value, right? It's called argument value. And then there is a parameter in the called function. There's a called parameter variables, right? Typically it's declared in the parentheses of called functions. So this is called parameter variables, typically declared here, and initialized with the value of the argument value. So when calling function passes a data, right, so the data is going to be used to initialize the parameter variables in the called functions. So I'm going to show you the example. So now we are going to write so I'm going to show you a very simple program, Python program. We have add2 functions, and obviously it has two parameter variables. So we have a parameter variable, right? Parameter variable, and A and B, as you can see. And so we have a return statement. So basically this parameter variable is also the local variable. So we have A and B as a parameter variables. Also this A and B is declared locally in the function, so A and B is also local variable. So I'm going to talk more about a local variable later. So now we have a main functions, and the main function has a 2 and 3, right? It declared this variable m and n within this main. And then as you can see, this main function is going to call this add2 actually twice, right? It's going to call this function twice. So in the first case, adding 1 and 2, right? And then it's going to return 3. So your sum is going to be 3. In the second case, m is a 2 and n is 3. So 2 plus 3 is a 5. this sum, so this add function is going to return 5, and the sum is going to be 5. So let's just draw this diagram. So in this case, the calling function is a main. Right? The calling function is a main. And in the first case, right? In the first case, so okay, I'll just redraw. There's a calling functions. In this case, it's a main. And in this main, in the first case, it's going to pass 1 and then 2, right? As an argument value. So this 1 and 2 is a argument value, right? This function now has a 2-parameter variable, right? This function has 2-parameter variable, which is a and b. So a and b. And then the called function in this case is what? Add to. Right? So in next case, right? In the next case, first, okay. When the main functions are when main function calls this add to functions, what happens is actually parameter variable a and b is created. So there is a and b is created. And okay, in the main, of course, there is what? M and n, right? And m has a 2 and n has a 3. Okay, so this is when this function is called, this function is going to return. So parameter variable a and b is initialized as 1 and 2 respectively, right? And then it's going to return 3. So your sum is going to be what? 1 plus 2 is 3, right? And in the second case, right, m, actually you have to be careful because this main function's pass is what? Is passing, actually it's not really m and n, it's not really this variable. Instead, what is passing the copy, or passing the value of the m and n. So you have to say what is passing what? It's not really passing an n, m, n. It's not passing, it's what? It's passing the value of m and n. So 2 and 3. And so that's why it is called, it's called what? By value. It's not really passing the m and n, it's really passing the value of m and n. So make another copy and pass 2 and 3. Right? So this a and b is initialized as 2 and 3. So now it used to be what? Used to be 1 and 2, right? But now main function provide another value, right? 2 and 3. So this is going to be 2 and this is going to be 3. And then what? A plus b, which is 2 plus 3 is a 5. So it's going, this function is going to return 5, right? The sum now will have a new value, which is a 5. Okay? So this is really, I just explained about what? Parameter passing, especially what? Call by value case. So it's really passing, this call by value means the calling function is not really passing m and n, right? It's really passing, make the copy of this value, and then passing this content, okay, this value 2 and 3 to a called function. So that's why it's called a call by value. Okay, so let me end my lecture here.